Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Uppsala and we're doing my first review from Tempel Brygghus, which I'm quite excited about. This is another brewery who specialise in sour beers actually, so I told you lies in my last Precariat once when I said they were the only ones in Sweden to do this, so do forgive me for that. But today we're going to have a taste of the Monstrosity, which is a hoppy sour at 4.9%. From Tempel Brygghus. It should be really nice. It's rated 84 overall in rate beer, but 44 within the style, so that tells you it should be quite a nice beer, but it will be rather quirky within the sour beer kind of wild ale category. But looking forward to trying this one, and I hope you guys enjoy the review as well. It's always cool to try beers from new breweries throughout Sweden, of course. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Tempel Brygghus. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, of course, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel uses a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Tempel Brygghus then. So these guys were founded back in 2014 by Arvid Lundgren, and they're currently based just outside of Uppsala, which of course is another big university town here in Sweden. So the brewery apparently has its roots in Västerås, and Arvid was originally a home brewer for quite a long time before he decided to kind of go commercial with his brewery. So they shared a premises initially with Jackdaw Brewery before they established their own brewery, which is about 5 kilometres outside of Uppsala city, and this facility apparently has a capacity of around 100,000 litres of beer per year, although they do say that this can be expanded further later on. They brewed about 17,000 litres in their first year, and they nearly doubled that in the second year, but as I say, they've got a much larger capacity than that, and they do plan to expand it in the coming years, I guess you would say. But he's actually joined at the brewery by Johan Holmedal, who previously worked for Slottskälen's brewery, also in Uppsala. You've seen me review some of their beers before, and as I mentioned to you, this brewery specialises in sour beers, but they do plan to add some non-sour beers to their repertoire over the course of 2017, and their beers are distributed throughout Sweden by Brill & Co. and further abroad as well. I think some of their beers are exported to Norway, I think some of them go to the UK and different places like that. So this is a brewery from Sweden that you will be starting to find outside of the country as well. So if you get the chance to try some of their beers, do have a go at them, especially if you like some of the sour beers. So just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, there's the Gehenna, which is their sour ale. I think that's sort of their flagship beer, the most produced one, but I'm not sure. There's the Perdition, which is sour raspberry stout. I do have one of those to review for you later. There's the Isotonic, which is a ghost beer. There's the Ordained, which is a green tea Berliner Weiss. That sounds very, very interesting. There's the Seraph, which is their low ABV sour. There's the Serpent, which is a sour rhubarb IPA, again a very interesting sounding beer. The Wildebeest, which uses a lot of local fruit from the Uppsala area, and they also have the Sweetgood, which is a collaboration gosa with Jäderås Brewery as well. So that sounds like another really interesting one, and that beer was of course very highly rated if you check it out on Rate Beer, but hopefully I can review some of those for you in the near future. If you want to learn more about the brewery, of course, do check out the website and the Facebook and things in the description below. But we'll get on to the tasting section of this video now. Really looking forward to this one. So I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork to this one. As I mentioned to you, this beer is a 4.9% hoppy sour. It does fit into that sour ale, wild beer, or wild ale sour beer category, I guess you would say, that they have on Rate Beer. There you can see on the back there's the Tempel symbol. It's actually kind of like the Illuminati actually. It reminds me a lot of the Illuminati. There you can see that's on the bottle cap as well, so I'll definitely be keeping the bottle cap from this one. Best before the 31st of April 2017, so it's well in date when I'm reviewing this, and there you can see the Leviathan just chilling out there on the label. It actually looks really nice. Quite a nice sort of a classic, almost heathen style of artwork you have on this one, I should say. But I'm no art critic, I'm here to drink the beer, but very nice artwork on this one, I would say anyway. So as you can see, a nice smoky opener on this one, and you can smell some of these nice American hops coming out of this beer as you pour it. There is quite a little bit of sediment visible in this one, so we'll kind of do two separate tastings actually, and just see if we can get the sediment in a bit later. I can swirl it up a little bit and see if we can get some of that, but we'll have a look at the beer just as it is just now. So as you can see, this beer's poured a really kind of pale, almost hay colour actually. If I shine it up to the light, there you can see There's a nice kind of sort of pale goldeny straw colour to this one. There's a half finger of a frothy white head to this one. It looks very, very nice. There's actually quite a bit of carbonation just visible on this one. Some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head. But if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see there is a degree of transparency to it, but it is quite a kind of pale golden straw colour, this one. A little bit hazy, but it is very, very nice. So yeah, looks like a really, really nice beer. So yeah, let's have a look at the aroma of this one then and see how we get on. Oh yeah. Now, straight off with this, you're going to smell a sort of pale, light bready malt base, and then you've got this, the tart, really citricy, kind of Britannomyces sort of thing going on with this one. There's a little bit of a wheaty character to it as well. You can pick up some of the sort of smoother aspects that you'd expect of wheat in this one. And I've just seen actually on the back, it does say Vetemalt, which is wheat malt, of course. But yeah, really nice smelling beer, this one. So it's got this kind of slightly almost herbal and vegetal character to it. I'm picking that up in this one a little bit. But there's quite a little bit of fruity character from it. You know, it's got the things you'd expect from the American hops. There's a bit of floral character, there's a bit of grassiness to it. And you have got some of these fruits as well. You know, there's a little bit of grapefruit in there. Maybe a wee bit of passion fruit or something like that. But mainly it's leaning towards the sort of, almost the same, the kind of fruits that you'd associate with the likes of the Citra hop, for example. There's a wee bit of a kind of mango, or not quite pineapple, I don't think. It's got these lighter, just really light tropical fruits in the beer actually. But yeah, it's a really quite nice smelling beer, this one. It's there's a sort of herbal kind of vegetal thing just underpinning it, like I was saying. So it's quite interesting in that regard. So the wheat malts, as I say, wheat malts and bready malt just underpinning this one. Yeah, really, really nice smelling beer, this. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy it before you get stuck in. As I say, it leans towards these kind of almost citra-like fruits, but it does smell really quite interesting. I've never come across a sour beer that has that kind of slightly herbal, vegetal thing that this one does. But yeah, I think there's a bit of pineapple in there, passion fruits, grapefruits, a bit of mango as well, but a really interesting aroma on this one, so just pay attention to that a little bit before you try this beer. But we'll give this one a go now and see how we get on. So this one is the Monstrosity, a hoppy sour, a wild ale basically, from Tempel Brygghus up in Uppsala here in Sweden. Skål. That's pretty nice. Comes across quite different in the flavour than it comes across in the aroma, to be honest with you. And it's interesting with this one. It's actually just got a nice little bit of sourness to it. Some of the sour beers that I've come across, they can be really, really sharp and sour, but for me, this one just kind of hits the... it just sort of hits the spot. It's got a nice little bit of the sharp tart character to it without being really kind of overpowering in that regard. I do like sour beers, but some of them just can be that little bit too sharp for me. But this one does seem to kind of hit the spot. It's got a nice kind of juiciness and a little bit of bitterness from the hops that just balance that out a little bit more. It works out really well. Yeah. And as you saw, I poured a little bit of the sediment into the beer there, and that smooths it out even more actually. Now with this, before, there wasn't really very much coming out of the malt base, but now that I've poured just a little bit of the sediment in, you can really feel the sort of wheaty malts. There's a good kind of bready base to this beer. As I always say, the malt base comes out in the middle of your palate, but you can really feel that nice bready, wheaty malt base just underpinning this beer on the middle of your palate, and that again suits the character that this beer has. You can feel this like tart, sour character on the very edge of your tongue. You can feel the hoppiness kind of balancing that out. This beer really, all of the things just kind of go together really quite well. So if you like your IPAs to have a little bit of Brett and things in them, then this is one you're going to enjoy. It's not got the same hoppiness that an IPA does. This beer is quite kind of unique in its own regard, to be honest with you. It's not like anything I've tried before. I mean, it's not even like a saison or something like that. But the saison, maybe the sort of kind of bready base you would expect from the Saison a little bit is kind of what you're getting in this beer, but it doesn't quite have the almost banana-y characters that you would expect of the Saison, but it's really nice. It certainly is a really good beer. This is good. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. I'd love to try it on tap and just see how it comes out, because you might just get a little bit more fruitiness from it actually. But this is good. I mean, the fruity character on it's quite interesting. So as I said, you've got that kind of bready malt base to it. In the back corners of the palate, I'm getting a wee teeny little bit of earthiness and herbal character in there. As you come further forward on the sides of the palate, it's a little bit, it's kind of, you can feel the sort of slightly herbal character in there, but it's got a nice kind of floral base to it, and as you go round the front curve of the palate, it becomes more grassy, and of course the fruitiness comes out in that little oily bubble. The fruity esters always come out in that nice little oily bubble you get behind the very front curve of your tongue. And I want to say, there's not really grapefruit in this one. I'm getting a wee bit of passion fruit, just a little bit, but it really is leaning towards those more kind of light, slightly tropical flavours. I'm getting a little bit of mango out of this one. There is a bit of pineapple just sitting in there as well. It's pineapple that's kind of ringing a bell for me when it comes to this beer. It really does have a nice little bit of pineapple to it. The fruit is actually quite subtle in this one, I'd say. It's not as big, it's not as kind of strong and oily, for example, as you'd expect of an IPA, an American IPA or something like that. It really is just a little bit more subtle, and it starts to come out more into the aftertaste. As you move into the aftertaste, that kind of bready malt base starts to come out. The sort of sharp, citricy characters. The sour part of this beer really comes out around the edge of the tongue, but then it just starts to fade as you progress further and further into the aftertaste. There's a little bit of the herbal hoppiness remaining there, and a little bit of that kind of pineapple, slightly mangoey, maybe even slightly apricot-y fruit character coming out of this one. But this is a nice beer. I always quite like trying sour beers, because it seems every brewery that you try something from, I mean in Sweden there's Sortipoja, there's Brickeriet, and now there's Tempel as well. All of them have their own little niches that their beer seems to fit into, and for me this is another really quite interesting one. Sour beers of course are one that I need to do more of them for you on the channel, but there's not that many breweries actually doing them. So again, it's a kind of paradox, if you like, or a catch-22. But for me, this is a really nice beer, and on the basis of this one, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink some of their other stuff. You know, I really want to try some of these beers now, but in terms of recommending this one, if you like your sour beers to have that sort of more lemony, sort of citricy character, then this one's going to suit you. The fruity character, this one, the hoppy side of things leans more towards the light tropical notes. So maybe if you like, for example, the Citra hop, or a little bit of New Zealand hop or something, it doesn't quite have the same feel as the New Zealand hops, but the fruity character, it has a little bit of that light kind of tropical fruit character that you might expect from it. There's maybe a little bit of lychee or gooseberry coming out of this beer as well. That's probably, if you like those kind of flavours, you are going to enjoy this one, I think. But for me, it really is quite nice, and it makes me want to try some of their other beers and just get a proper feel for this brewery. So I'll try and review one of their darker sour beers next time, so that it gives a kind of good perspective of the sort of, how do you say, the sort of full spectrum of what this brewery is capable of. It's always good to try a lighter beer and then a darker beer, and then try the other things in the middle when it comes to reviewing a brewery. But for me, this is quite a nice beer. You can tell when you try this one, it is good quality, and it does fit into, it's kind of in its own niche. It's not really like anything else I can think of that I've tried, but it does have the sort of bready character you'd maybe expect of a Saison or something like that, without the sort of banana flavours to it. But yeah, really quite nice beer, this one. In terms of the mouthfeel, I'd say this one, it's probably light to mid-body, but then again, I would always say that sour beers are light-bodied just because of that citric character that they've got. Carbonation in this one is quite moderate. It's got more of a wet mouthfeel, but again, that's just the impression I always get from sour beers. They do tend to come across as quite wet because of that sharpness that they have, the tart character. It's got a nice smooth malt base. There is a little bit of sweetness from it as well, actually. The hops have a little bit of bitterness, but overall I'm finding them quite smooth. There's a good bit of that sharpness from the tartness as well, and there's just a little bit of juicy fruity character too. But overall, the thing I would say about this beer is that it is quite interesting. If you try this beer, do be prepared and go into it with an open mind, because it is quite different to anything else that I've tried before. But on the basis of this one, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink some of the other beers from Tempel. I'd love to try this guy on tap and just see how it turns out as well. But yeah, a really interesting beer, the Monstrosity. 4.9% hoppy sour from Tempel Brygghus up in Uppsala here in Sweden. A really quite nice beer that I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink again. Definitely for fans of sour beers. If you like saisons and you like American hop fruits, then I guess this is one that you're probably going to enjoy as well. So yeah, been really cool to review my first beer from these guys, and hopefully you can see me review another one from them in the fairly near future. So thank you again for watching. As always, please do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you've tried it. Let me know your favourite beers from Tempel Brygghus as well. Always interesting to hear from you guys. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. Thanks once again for watching, and make sure you try some of these Tempel Brygghus beers from Uppsala up here in Sweden. Until the next time, it's landed just now, and I will catch you very soon. Cheers.